Hello, my name is Anders. I use the he, him pronouns. And today I'm going to do some character creation, culture creation, and town creation for Lavender Hack, which is an OSR game um, that I've been looking at recently. Um, yeah, I'll go through the procedures for character creation and the other stuff. I'll talk a bit about them as I do it. Um, and we'll see what we end up with. This is also partly to continue developing the character keeper that I've been working on, to see if it uh, can handle the information. It doesn't yet have a space for culture, but uh, I'll be adding that in a later version. So let's get to it. We'll start by creating. I think I'll make four characters. Um, so character creation is pretty simple. 3d6 in order. You roll for a star sign. Choose a class. Roll or choose a core concept for the character. And same thing for background. You roll your hit die to see how many hit points you start with. You roll your starting gear. And then it says choose starting class feats here. That's just should just be note because everyone who has the same class has the same starting feats. I probably won't write those down here because they're always the same. So in this character keeper, I made room for four different characters. Um, Probably I should add space for another one, just in case you want to play with a bigger group, even if I probably don't want to do that. So start with the stats. So we have the first character here. Sure if you can see the dice there properly, but that's a 12. 12 for strength, 6 for dexterity, and another 6 for constitution. Intelligence is 9. Wisdom is 10. Charisma is 10. Not the greatest set of stats, but it's an OSR game. That's going to happen. So the next step is to roll the star sign. This, I believe, I have that here. So I will go to PDF. Uh, this character on the D12 for the star sign. This character was born under the sign of the Velvet Harp. The domains here are song, festivals, wine, and autumn. The curse, which you can get hit by in certain points in the game, from what I understand, is that you will be carefree, party with abandon, sing loudly, get drunk. That's the type of behavior that the character will exhibit if they get hit by the curse related to the star sign. So the next step is to choose a class. Uh, well, the only stat we have here that's in any way above average is strength. So there are only three classes here. There's strong, deft, and wise, broadly correlating to the uh, fighter, thief, magic user uh, triad. So here we'll go for a strong character since that's uh, what we're closest to. So strong, the hit die here automatically changes. Roll your hit die with advantage to get your starting hit points. Add your constitution modifier, which is -1. I'm not sure if you add a negative modifier. I assume you do, but see. Yeah, I think that's how it works. So in this case, this character will start with 3 hit points. Sorry, 1 hit die, 3 hit points. Current hit points would be 3, but that really matters. Uh, I'm going to use the tables to roll for core concept and background. So the core concept is a 6 gray wastes tracker. Of course, there's no preset definition of what a gray waste tracker is. That's something for us to come up with at the table. And the background is 9 swamp gondolier. That's interesting. So I imagine this character would have lived at the edges of the gray wastes where there's a swamp. Would travel across the swamp. At some point, he started going into the gray wastes. He learned how to do some tracking, maybe. Uh, he's not particularly good at it, but then he or she or they is not particularly good at anything at this point. Next, we get to starting gear. So roll a d10 here for starting armor. 3, so leather and a shield. Next up is starting weapon, also d10. 5, longsword. So that's decent. The numbers here, I think, is the value of the items. I'm not noting that now. It doesn't. It's not relevant if you're not actually going to play. We get some general starting items. 2, bright purple scarf and personal wax seal. That's kind of fancy. Doesn't really fit with what kind of character this person has seemed to be, but maybe they are maybe they actually could be a noble in exile, could be a young scion of a noble family who didn't have, couldn't get anything better. Maybe they're just trying to display uh, some the traits of a person of a higher standing than they actually. So for languages, um, voices and languages are not detailed at character creation. Instead, you add those uh, at appropriate times uh, later. Um, see if I can find the thing on voices. So character backgrounds are considered unwise. So in this case, uh, Swamp Gondolier is this character's one of these characters' wises. And then they also get maximum 2. That's based on the character class. Let's see. There are some examples of wises. Um, uh, strong characters get 2 wises. Deft also get 2 wise. Get 4. Oh yeah, I've automated that. So if I change this to wise, that's 4. So max 2 wises, but these are, from what I understand, and something I agree with, probably better to add during play when you figure out that, oh, this is something my character should know something about. So with that, we've finished the first character. So let's move on to the second. So I read a strength of 14, actually a positive modifier there. Dex is 12. Con is 13. Intelligence 15. This is something different. Wisdom 7. And charisma is 13. Positive modifiers almost across the board. That's highly unusual. Could go into any class, but let's see what the star sign is. Give us some idea of what this character may want to do. So this is 3. Character was born on the star sign, the Happy Hacks. The names there are birth, forests, animals, and spring. The curse is lust, hedonism, avoid violence, and hardships. So to me, this reads like probably definitely not a strong character, probably a wise character. Um, could be a deaf as well with forests and animals. I go with Yeah, let's go with that. Not particularly high dexterity, which could have there, of course. High charisma, and otherwise fairly physical character could be like has high intelligence as well, but low wisdom could hurt. That's going to hurt anyway. Yeah, let's go with that. So, going to roll the core concept here. 8, burglar of the 4 lost wolf. So, burglar here could indicate that there's some kind of criminal, but could also be burglar the way Bilbo is in the Lord of the Rings window with the Hobbit. So another 3 here for background circus performer. Interesting. Let's roll the hit points. Advantage, that's 5. This one, 6 starting hit points. Circus performer turn burger. Yeah, let's go. Let's check out starting. Starting armor D10, 6 leather, 11 weapon, 9 longsword, 'ranged weapon, 9 crossbow and bolts, and some starting items. 5 pine boar. So circus performer turned burglar. Burglar of the 4 lost vaults. To me, that reads that could be like almost like a title, something you call yourself when you're uh, out doing a particular type of adventuring. That's interesting. Circus performer will be one of the character's wisest. They have not the highest dexterity, but they have a fairly high strength and constitution. They could have been some kind of strongman, maybe a circus, or some other kind of performer. Could have been an acrobat, one of the guys who's forming the bottom of the pyramid. Um, maybe work with animals, since that's uh, part of the domains for their star sign. Could be interesting. This lost and hedonism may have gotten them into trouble. Circus. That could be part of the background. Next up, character number 3. Okay, strength now. 12. 13, 12. Constitution, 12. Intelligence, 9. Stone 9. And charisma 10. Very average. So we have a strong in the depth, but I think this definitely reads like one of those more than wise. You're not prevented from being wise just because of how what your stats look like. And since a modifier set is 0 across the board, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, let's make this not so wise character a wise character. So roll hit dice. These are d4s, even though they look like d8. The number multiple twice. That's 4 starting hit points. And from star sign, 2. That's the lavender cloak. This is the thing for this character because we have books as part of the as one of the domains here. So that fits for a wise character. Jules Finery and Pain, maybe less so, but we'll see. We have the curse here, not very nice. Display jealousy, spread rumors, treat the poor with disgust. Clearly, this is typical of some sort of, or related to some sort of class behavior. So let's go check the core concept for this character is 1. Initiate the blood. Interesting. The background is 4. Low Moods Herbalist. That gives quite a different flavor from their star sign. So initiate a blood witch, you could connect that with pain, of course. Herbalist doesn't strongly fit with any of those, but books works, pain, you have thorns on plants, that sort of thing. Yeah, interesting. Let's see what gear lugging around. So starting weapon for one character. In this case, we get staff. And we get a familiar. 1. Farm cat. Starting item. 6. Semi-sentient purple moss. Okay. Which clearly is not familiar, it's just something you got. Fits with being an herbalist, to have some moss. And wise characters also get a favored element in the starting spell. Haven't made a good space for these. The feats here includes favored element, but that just shows the table. Uh, not really useful here. So write it under gear. Uh, let's see what the favored element. 5. That's Earth. That fits. fits with having worked in the or spent time in the lone woods. Seems like that would be an earthy place. And herbalists, of course, need to dig around in the dirt. Finally, starting spell. This one. 7. Control weather. That feels appropriate as well. It's opposed to having earth as your favorite element, but it all fits together quite neatly. Yeah, cool. Let's move on to last character. The strength of 9, dexterity 14, constitution 10, intelligence 10, wisdom 9, and charisma 15. Yeah, I'm definitely going with a deft character here. Both dexterity and charisma high, which uh, go well with a deft character. Um, hit die, 6, 5, get their star sign. Should 5, 3-fingered merchant. Names are trade, gold, and barn. That all fits with that character, I think. First here is Wanderlust. Avoid cities and people, stay out on the road. Well, that should work. Usually not too much of a trouble for an adventurer. Yeah, let's move on to core concept. Is 10. Tomb robber for the Red Hoods. So we have burglar and tomb robber. Here the background is mid-tier diplomat. Well, from diplomat to tomb robber. I'm not sure if that's a move up or down. Depends on what it means to work for the Red Hoods. Something we would figure out play here. But let's see what gear our tomb robbing diplomat is carrying. 4, so they just barely get some leather armor. Starting weapon is a longsword. Along with a short bow and arrows. And finally, 3, an annotated treasure map. So I get the feel here that this is the character who has pulled the others together. They have this treasure map. They want to probably fortune or something similar. And they've gathered the rest of the characters here together: circus performer, swamp gondolier, herbalist, or burglar, tracker, and witch initiate. Yeah, interesting. It's useful to know that for spells, you can always trade these for heal or harm. So control weather may not seem very useful, but you can also use it for the default effects of healing. So normally we would give these characters names, find images, and that sort of thing. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm not planning on playing these characters. Maybe I will do some solo play, but we'll leave that for now. So now we'll move on to town and culture creation. Before we can create the town, we need to create the culture uh, that's dominant in this town. We don't have a place for this in the character keep yet, so I'll just uh, make some notes here. And see what we come up with. First, we need to find out what type or types of folk are part of this culture. This is the term we use in this game instead of race, as is the traditional D20 or F20 word. Folk is more uh, less well, less prone to relating to real world prejudices. So I think that's good. So here we roll D100, and if we get an even result, we roll again, and that type. So here we get a 71. There's just one type of folk, and that type of folk is the lizard. That's the predominant type of folk in this culture. Doesn't mean that every member of the culture is lizard folk, just that that's the predominant uh, species, or whatever term you want to use for that. Then we roll for a paragon, and this is the sort of the type of person that this culture looks up to. And we roll it to 100 again and get a 46, which is the diplomat. So the character type. This means that when you're negotiating, they all get the faction or members of the faction get a particular advantage based on their paragon and rebel. Uh, in this case, it's to deal with when you negotiate with them. The rebel is a countercultural icon. That's 56 here, which is also that's a trader. That's interesting. So the way I think about this, and there's not a huge amount given in the text to describing what a paragon and rebel is. But the way I think of this is that the paragon is someone that society in general looks up to, while the rebel is someone that people who maybe are a bit dissatisfied or outsiders or uh, just not that concerned with the uh, status quo. That's the kind of character they or kind of person that they would look up to. So if we take 19th century Great Britain, the paragon could be an industrialist, for example, or the rebel could be a poet. So it's still someone that can be influential. It's not someone who's outside society as such, but uh, they're less concerned with traditional hierarchy. So having the trader as one of their roles here means that this culture will have an additional valuable type for supply and demand. into trading. But trading isn't seen as something that good, upstanding members of society do, since this is a countercultural figure. So this is very interesting. Diplomacy and trade are very closely linked and very close to each other. So I think maybe diplomacy here is focused on gift giving, maybe, and negotiations. Or maybe the diplomacy is focus on diplomacy could be that they're trying to get along and have maybe not so much strict laws and rules, but that they have individual agreements. And trade is seen as countercultural because it's less long term. It's more like we make an exchange here and now, while maybe the rest of society is more focused on building relationships over time. The next step is the role for supply and demand, and because we have the trader as one of the roles, we roll two for each instead of one for each. And um, this is another D100 roll. So our first supply is 5. That is books. That's interesting. So these are things that this culture has a surplus of, things that they are willing to sell for less than usual going. They have scrolls. Those fit very well together. And then the command 79. That is T. And 61. Nuts. So clearly these lizard folk are, well, they're good at making paper or whatever they're using for books and scrolls here. Could be parchment or uh, something else, papyrus. And they have perhaps some refined tastes like tea, uh, which obviously is the sign of a refined person, I say as I sip my tea. They want nuts. I would have to assume that this was some particular type of nuts. Yeah, they want to share maybe they share their knowledge. Maybe these are blank books and scrolls. Yeah, interesting. So the next step is to create 3 customs. And for each custom, you roll a touchstone. I think you can do that before or after you decide what the custom is about. I'm going to roll the touchstone first, just because I think it's easier to come up with something that fits that way. I would imagine that at least one of these would be related to things I talked about with diplomacy. So we'll see here. First touchstone is 84B. So this could be either beekeepers, maybe these particular bees help them with this making of books and scrolls. Could be that they're using the wax from the beehives, not for candles, but as one of the components in this writing. The not paper, the other thing that they're using to write on, but they're using that. That seems That seems interesting. Let's go with that. So bees. Uh, what would they? What would be a custom that they could use? Uh, Maybe everyone keeps bees. That seems that seems interesting. Um, we, we all keep bees. Let's go with that for now. I can always go back and change these as we're going through the process. Uh, you could make this a bit more involved, like a person who doesn't keep bees is not to be trusted or something like that. Um, which could be a reason for why traders are countercultural. They have contact with outsiders in a way that the others don't, um, because the others avoid people who don't keep bees. I leave it as it is for now. Next one is 47. That is spiral. So I'm thinking that so do they like spirals or do they dislike spirals? Look at beehives. There aren't any spirals there, I don't think. Maybe spirals blue. Maybe they build their towns in the shape of a spiral. Um, I think it's more interesting to have the spiral as a positive thing than a negative thing. Because spirals aren't something you encounter very much. So it's not very, you don't get much story potential from having it as something negative. So I think something positive or yeah, something like to could be some kind of religious belief, maybe. Um, Using spiral as a mark. Oh, yeah, let's go with this. We build in spirals to reflect or to spirals to gain protection from evil spirits. Evil spirits get deflected or confused by the spirals, so they build their towns spiral shaped, maybe even kind of their houses. It's a bit difficult to imagine, but you could imagine like having a round house where the walls are curved, maybe spiral shaped windows. Yeah, interesting. I'll just leave it. So 82. That's a lion. Is the third touchdown for the third custom. So these are lizard folk. They are beekeepers. No obvious connection to lions there. Um, Maybe sleeping lions is a sign of wealth. Yeah, that's interesting. Bring some lions around. So normally now you would name the faction, name the languages. You can create a paragon leader or rebel leader now or later, but uh, that's not typically something you do right away. I don't need to name this faction because I'm not playing, just playing around. So now that we have the culture, we will create a town. And here you put in the name of the culture. Um, Now, when you make the town, each character creates a starting location for the town. There are different tables for the different classes and your own proprietor. Um, and each location gives access to uh, different actions when you're doing both downtime essentially in the town after you've been out adventuring. So I haven't noted here change tables are on. Should have. Let's see. Um, yes, 50. Here we go. So for a first character who is strong, we roll on the table for a strong character. D10. We get flop house, which allows for the recover action. And then we roll a D100 to see how the is. 15. That's this character's father. So probably not uh, the youngest scion of a noble family. Um, More likely someone trying to better themselves, or maybe this flop house is has some fancy decorations. So the character's father is trying to put on like this is a nicer place than it actually is. That's why he's got this purple scarf using wax to seal their uh, correspondence or other important documents. And normally you would name the location of that. I'm not going to do that either here. Uh, cool. So next character is our Lost Vaults burglar, who is deaf. So that table, 10, 2, we get a drug den. Browse and recover. So this is interesting. We have these lizard folk who seem to be very much into books and bees. Um, we have these rather not so pleasant locations. Clubhouse and the drug den. Maybe that's for the outsiders. Uh, yeah, interesting. The proprietor here is 15. It's this character's father. So clearly, clearly we're dealing with some locals here. It could mean that these characters are lizard folk. It could be that their families have ended up here. That's why they are here as well. Yeah. So third character is wise. So 10 station there. 9. That is a temple. And in the temple, you can do research and you can craft magic items, craft magic. And the proprietor here, see if it's another family member. 64. No, that is town stable master. It's also the temple proprietor. So that's interesting. Could be a connection there between their religion and the horses or whatever riding animals they use. Interesting. And our last character is Death. And what's another role on the Death table? 5, which is a common mark. You can shop right there. Is 44. The character's ex-lover. Um, yeah. Oh, and we also have an inn because every town has an inn. Inn you can carouse, cover, shop, I believe. Shop and carousing and recovery. Yes. Um, not 100% sure if you roll for a proprietor there as well. I'm going to do that. If I get one of the characters, I'm just going to pick one at random. That's 0, 2. Characters 4. Character monster. So let's assume that that's his father's sister. It could be his mother's sister, his parents are living here. His father is the proprietor of the flop house. Well, one of his other relatives, anyway, is running the inn. So this is character 3. The Blood Witch Initiate is the only one who doesn't have a direct family connection to the town. So maybe these are all lizard folk, with the exception of the Blood Witch, who could still be a lizard folk. Maybe there's just a lot of non-lizard folk in this town, since it is a place that these adventurers, at the very least, probably some others as well, have their base of operations. It seems likely that there would be some outsiders. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of the rules part here. Normally, we would obviously talk a bit more about how the characters are connected to each other and to uh, these locations that we've created. Um, I don't think that's really relevant here and now. Um, yeah, I'm just going to end this here. I hope that this was useful for someone who's interested in this game. Yeah, take care.